Hello everyone, I welcome you all in this session. As we have already discussed the types and the properties of the relations, in which we have seen the reflexive relation, irreflexive, symmetric, antisymmetric, asymmetric, transitive, isn't it? So then after we have discussed about the equivalence relation. So in the equivalence relation, we have seen the relation that is reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. Then we have seen the partial order relation, in which we have seen if a relation is reflexive, antisymmetric, and transitive. So now in this session, we just go through some of the examples of these important relations, that's the equivalence relation and the partial order relation. Okay, so first we will write the definition of equivalence relation. Equivalence relation, yeah, okay. So what is an equivalence relation? So if we have a set, let A be any set, then a relation R on the set A is said to be an equivalence relation. The condition, so this is an equivalence relation on A if and only if. So this we are writing if and only if. Okay, this means if and only if, so it is both sided relation. So if it satisfies these three conditions, okay, the following condition. So the first condition here is that it is reflexive. Second condition is that it should be symmetric, so it is symmetric. And the third condition is that this relation should be transitive, so it is transitive. So then the relation is called an equivalence relation. Okay, okay. Now the another definition is a compatible relation. Okay, so first I want to just give a result here, so I will not go through the proof. So if you have the two equivalence relations, if R and S be two equivalence relations on a set should be same A, then R intersection S, so it is also an equivalence relation. It's an equivalence relation on this set A. So that means the intersection of the two equivalence relation is also an equivalence relation. And what about the union? So union of the two equivalence relations may not be so it may or may not be an equivalence relation. Okay, so this is a result. We will not go through the proof. Okay, so now another type of relation, that is compatible relation. What is compatible relation? Again, so a binary relation on any set is reflexive and symmetric. Okay, so a binary relation on any set that is reflexive and is symmetric, that is called a compatible relation. Okay, so now you can check equivalence relation is reflexive as well as the symmetric. So we can say every equivalence relation is compatible, but the converse is not true. But every compatible relation is not equivalence. Okay, for example, if I write you here as example, if you have a set A in which we have the elements x, and x is an, so that is English word. Okay, and we define the relation on A. The relation on A is such that here we have the elements A comma B, such that A comma B belongs to A. Okay, and A and B has one or more letters common. So we will show that this relation R is compatible. Okay, so now how can, so any of the English word is there in the set A. Okay, so now we have to show it is reflexive. So if you will take any word of English and take it the same word, now you can check that this A has the same letters that this A will have. For example, you will take the class. So this is the English word. Write the class again. So it has the same letters that this one has. So this is what A and this is what A again. So that means in the reflexive, what can we say? Every English word has letters same as itself. So it is reflexive. Okay. So now to show that it is symmetric, what we will do? In the symmetric, if A has what we say, A and B has one or more letters in common. So let's say that A is related with B. That means A is some word in the English and B is some word in the English, and these two words has at least one or more letters in common. Then obviously, if you write B and A, so B and A has the same letters as in common. So that means if A comma B will be in the relation, that means they have the same letters in the common, at least one. And similarly, if you will write B and A, then they have the same letters in the common. Okay, for example, if you write A is, let's say you will take it as a book, okay, and you will write B as a boy, so now they have at least one, even here two as a common, so A is related to B, so this will be in the relation. Now B, now take a boy and a book, so it has the same letters in the alphabets in the common, so it will also be in R, so this is symmetric, so that means it is compatible. Okay, so it is not necessary transitive. For example, if you will take one as a book comma bite, so now these two words, so this has, it has a B and it has B, so it has common, so this will be in the R. Okay, so now take this bite, okay, with the, you can write a 10. Okay, so now it is related to here, T is there, now take the book and 10 here, so no word is in the common, so it is not related, but these two are in the relation, so it is not transitive, so that means this relation is compatible relation. Okay, so now the important relation that is in your syllabus is the partial order relation. Even we have discussed it in the last video, but here I'm writing the definition. Okay, partial order relation. So if we have a relation, again I want to remind you that relation is nothing, it is a subset of the Cartesian product. So if A, so a relation R on a set A, that means the subset of A cross A, so it's called partial order relation if it is reflexive, if it is antisymmetric, not symmetric but antisymmetric, okay, and it is transitive. So a relation, if it is reflexive, it is symmetric, sorry, antisymmetric, and it is transitive, we say this is the partial order relation. Okay, for example, I have a relation, there we are using the R, so here we just change the sign, I will write this sign from A to A. Okay, so we define a relation, so this relation is just like a subset relation. Okay, so is this relation partial order relation? Okay, so if we will take the A as to be set, now we have to check its power set P of A, because we are talking about the subsets, so we are taking the collection of the subsets here. Now, okay, so here first we will show whether it is reflexive or not. Okay, if we will check whether it is reflexive or not, so we have to show if we have a B is any subset of A, is B the subset of itself? Yes, every set is the subset of itself, so it implies B with B, so now this is a relation there, this one, so B is related with B, so it implies that this relation, as a subset relation, is reflexive, because every set is the subset of itself. Okay, now another one that we will check is antisymmetric. Okay, so to show, for example, if we have B1 and B2 are the subsets of A, and now we have to check if B1 is the subset of B2, is B2 the subset of B1? If B2 is also the subset of B1 always, then it is symmetric. Okay, so if B2 is the subset of B1 always, then it is symmetric. But you know, if B1 is the subset of B2, B2 is the subset of B1, it means that by the fact that they should be equal, B1 is equal to B2. So that means here we are saying that B1 is related to B2. Yes or no? B1 is related to B2. We suppose that if it is symmetric conjugate is also there, that means B2 is related to B1. It will be only possible in the subsets when both are equal. So that means this is the property of the antisymmetric. So that means this relation is antisymmetric. Okay, so now the third is transitive. So for example, you have the three subsets B1, B2, B3 are the three subsets of A, and we say B1 is related to B2, that is B1 is the subset of B2 and B2 is the subset of B3. Here every element of B1 is in B2, and here we say every element of B2 is in B3. So you know, by the relation, B1 should be in B3, so that means B1 is also related to B3 as well, so that means it is transitive. So now this subset relation is reflexive, it is antisymmetric, it is transitive, so that means this relation is on the power set is partial order relation. Okay, so this relation is defined on the power set of A. Okay, P of A. So it is P of A to P of A. Okay, so this is how we are showing the partial order relation, equivalence relation. Okay, there are some other product of the sets, ternary relation. Okay, so in the ternary relation we are not taking the A cross A, we are taking the three sets A cross A cross A. Okay, like that. So now another topic that's important in your syllabus is the composition of relations. Composition of relations. Okay, so let we have the two relation defined on a set, okay, from A to B. For example, a relation R is defined from A to B, and there is another relation that is defined from B to C. Then we can define the another relation R of S, that is here B and B is common. Then we can define this R of S that will be defined from A to B. Okay, so how this relation is there, I will show you. First, let's write a definition. Let R and S be two relations from set A to B and B to C respectively. Then a relation R O S, this we are writing R of S, or R composition with S, is called a composite relation that will be defined from A to C, where the elements will be ordered pair A comma C. So this will be the element in this composition. If and only if this element will exist only if you can find their common element B. So if we can find the B in the B such that you can match the two ordered pairs. So that means A comma B will be in the relation R, and this B is related to some other element C in the relation S. Okay, so this R of S is read as a composition of R and S. Okay, so what is this R of S? So in the R, you have the A comma B. So A is from the set A and B is from the set B, and S you have B comma C. B is the element from the B and C is the element from the C. Then you can define R of S. This will be A to C. So here we have the element A comma C such that here A is from the A, okay, B is from C is from the C, but the condition is here and this will exist. Okay, so we can write this will happen if there exists a common element B in B, okay, B in B, for which A comma B belongs to R and B comma C belongs to S. Then this ordered pair will belong in the composition. For example, I will write here, if you have the one set as 1, 2, 3, okay, and you have the B as another set A, B, C, and you have the another set C as X, Y, and Z. Now you define the relation R from A to B as 1 comma B, 2 comma A, 2 comma C. Write the relation from B to C as A comma X, B comma X, C comma Y, and C comma Z. So now you will define the R of S. So that is, in the R, you can check that 1 is related with B. Is there any element in the S that B is related to someone? Yeah, B is related to X, isn't it? Here, B is related to X, 1 is related to B. So it will give me 1 will be related to X in the R of S. So 1 will be related to X. Now go here. So 2 is related to A and A is related to X in the S. So in R of S, 2 will be related to X. So I will write 2 is related to X. Now, is there anywhere the A? No. Now 2 is related to C, and in the S, C is related to Y, is it? So that means in R of S, 2 will be related with Y. So we will write 2 with Y. Okay. So now 2 is related with C and C is related with Z. So 2 will related with Z as well. Okay. So this is the R of S. Okay. So this is the R of S. So this is how you can find the composition of the relation. Clear to everyone? Now you have to remember here, if you will find S of R. So now you will take A is related to X in S. Now you have to find S. And in the R, why is X? Nowhere. Okay. Now similarly, even you can check it here as well. S is related from B to C, and R is related from A to B. So there is not any common here as C of A. Even no elements are there in the intersection of A and C. So that means S of R will be empty set. Okay. So this is how you can find the composition of the two relations. Now the last topic in your relation is the directed graphs or digraph of a relation. Even this is a topic of the graph theory. So now I want to just give the overview of this topic. So here, if you have any relation, for example, A is 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now your relation is defined as 1, 2, 2, 2. So 2, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 4, 3. So what is the directed graph? So in this graph, what you are considering this set as the set of vertices, and here you will consider this R as the edges. Why we call it as a directed? Because here we are relating to which vertex is related to which one. Okay, just a direction. For example, here how many vertices do we have? 4. So I will make this as a 1, as a 2, this one as a 3, and this one as a 4. Now 1 is related to 2, so it has a direction that it is related to 2. Undirected graph, we can directly put it this way, and we do not know why this is the direction. But here in this relation, we have the direction. Y is related to 2, so it has a direction. That's why it is called a directed graph. 2 is related to 2, so here we have a loop. Okay, we have a loop here, so it is related to 2 itself. Now 2 is related to 4, so it has a direction towards the 4. Okay, similarly 3 is related to 2, so we have 3 is related to 2, it has this direction, and 3 is related to 4, we have this direction. Okay, and 4 is related to 1, we have this direction. Okay, and 4 is related to 3, so we have this direction. So this is the direct graph of this relation. Okay, okay, now let's go through some of the important problems in your this relation section. Okay, there are some important questions that you have to just practice the questions. I just want to give it here. Okay, so the question will be in your exam will be like this: give an example of any relation. Okay, give an example of a relation which is, okay, so first thing, it should neither be neither reflexive nor irreflexive. Okay, the question will be like this. So what will you do? Take a set A and take the element 1, 2, 3. So now define a relation from A to A. So this relation should be neither reflexive. So in the reflexive, we need every element should relate to itself. So that means the identity relation should be subset. So we will not take the subset. We will take only 1, 1. Okay, so 2, 2 only. But it is not irreflexive. Okay, so in the irreflexive, we do not need the element to relate itself. So here we should not show that. We should show that it is not irreflexive. So we will keep as one element that is related to itself, and 1, 2 is there. Now check at that identity. What is the identity relation here on A? So that is 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3. And now check, identity relation is not a subset of this relation, so it is not reflexive. Now irreflexive, so no element should be related to itself, but here we have the one element that's related to itself. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे रिफ्लेक्सिव में क्या होना चाहिए, ये IA, so that is the identity relation क्या होना चाहिए, इस relation का subset तो है ही नहीं, मतलब ये रिफ्लेक्सिव नहीं है. ठीक है, तो irreflexive के लिए कोई भी element अपने आप में आपके साथ relate नहीं करना चाहिए, यहाँ पे है तो ये irreflexive भी नहीं है. ठीक है, तो ये एक example हो गई. अच्छा, ऐसे ही आपसे पूछा जाएगा जो that is both symmetric, जो symmetric भी होगा, and antisymmetric, जो antisymmetric भी होगा. ओके, तो एंटीसिमेट्रिक में क्या है? एंटीसिमेट्रिक में आप सिमेट्रिक कंजुगेट तभी ले सकते हो जब वो आपस में इक्वल होंगे. आप ऐसे ही एक रिलेशन ले लीजिएगा और इसमें ले लीजिएगा 1, 1 या 2, 2 या 3, 3. नाउ इज द सिमेट्रिक? यस, बिकॉज़ वन इज रिलेटेड टू वन इज रिलेटेड टू इटसेल्फ. ठीक है, सो देयर इज नॉट एनी अदर एलिमेंट जो ये सिमेट्रिक की प्रॉपर्टी होल्ड नहीं कर रही. एंटीसिमेट्रिक? यस, इट इज एंटीसिमेट्रिक बिकॉज़ द सिमेट्रिक प्रॉपर्टी होल्ड्स हियर ओनली फॉर द सेल्फ रिलेटेड एलिमेंट्स. तो ये बोथ सिमेट्रिक एंड एंटीसिमेट्रिक है. ओके, नाउ अनदर वन दे कैन आस्क यू, दैट इज जो रिफ्लेक्सिव भी होगा, बोथ रिफ्लेक्सिव एंड सिमेट्रिक. तो रिफ्लेक्सिव के लिए आपको आइडेंटिटी एलिमेंट चाहिए, सो 1, 1 होगा, 2, 2 होगा, 3, 3 होगा. ओके, सिमेट्रिक के लिए आप ये भी तो सिमेट्रिक है आइडेंटिटी, लेकिन अब आपके लिए 1, 2 अगर हम डाल देंगे 2, 1 भी डाल देते हैं. सो नाउ दिस इज reflexive, yes or no? So this is reflexive because identity relation is the subset, and it is symmetric as well because 1, 2, 2, 1 is there, and others symmetric conjugate is also there. Okay, similarly आपको कहा जाएगा each, so that is reflexive, symmetric and transitive, जो तीन होगा, reflexive भी होगा, symmetric भी होगा और transitive भी होगा. I said that is the universal relation. आप वो भी लिख सकते हो, है ना? तो आप identity relation भी लिख सकते हो, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. So it is reflexive, it is symmetric, it is transitive. So this is equivalence relation. Okay, so वो आपको ये भी कह सकते हैं that is which is symmetric and transitive but not reflexive, not reflexive. So when it's not reflexive, what we will do? 1, 2, 2, 1. Okay, so 1, 1, 2, 2. So now check. So it is symmetric, it is transitive, and it is not reflexive because 3, 3 is not there. So ऐसे आप में क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं. ठीक है बेटा? ओके, नाउ द क्वेश्चन दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. आपको एक रिलेशन दी जाएगी, उसका आपको कहा जाएगा शो दैट दिस रिलेशन इज द इक्विवेलेंस रिलेशन. ओके, सो या कोई रिलेशन दी जाएगी, आपको कहा जाएगा ये दिखाई गई पार्शियल ऑर्डर रिलेशन है. सो आई विल ट्राई टू जस्ट रिकॉर्ड वन ऑफ द वीडियो फॉर दीज क्वेश्चंस. So far we have completed the definitions of this relation. So thank you very much. See you in the next session. Okay, so please subscribe the channel, share it with your friends, and like the video.